call me Mystic Mike because I predict these things.
Stephen Thompson takes on Gabriel Bonfim this Saturday in the co-main event of UFC Fight Night Nashville, Tennessee. And this is another fight on this card outside of the main event where you got a young up-and-comer getting tested against a crafty veteran of the UFC. Stephen Thompson, been in the UFC since 2012. So been in the UFC for 13 years now. He's 42 years old, been in the UFC since he was 29. Fought the who's who of the division, fought for the belt, has a lot of very good wins. Has a few losses, especially as of late. Obviously he's 42, getting up there in age, and still fighting the stiff competition of the UFC. His last few fights: Joaquin Buckley, Shavkat Rakhmonov, Kevin Holland, Bilal Muhammad, Gilbert Burns, Jeff Neal, Vicente Luque. Just a murderer's row. I can excuse being 3-4 in his last 7 taking on guys like this, but is coming in off of 2 finished losses, one by right hook to Joaquin Buckley in a fight that he was winning going into the 3rd round, and then Shavkat Rakhmonov, a fight where he was kind of just controlled and out-grappled in that one en route to getting subbed by rear naked choke. Taking on Gabriel Bonfim, one of the Bonfim brothers, young up-and-comer, was undefeated before he ran into Nicholas Dalby, kind of gassed out in that one and got TKO'd, but coming in off of a unanimous decision win over Angelusa, and then a Darce choke win over Chaos Williams in his last outing back in February. So Gabriel Bonfim is kind of like the new breed at welterweight, very, very well-rounded, a lot of finishing potential, very young, 27 years old, hasn't even entered his prime yet. Big, strong for the division, 6'1" with a 72.5-inch reach. And Stephen Thompson, 42 years old, 6 foot with a 75-inch reach. So he's going to be 1 inch shorter, but have a 2.5-inch reach advantage over Gabriel Bonfim. But Stephen Thompson, he doesn't really need any introduction. He's a southpaw karate-style striker, really fast kicks, lightning fast kicks, can throw any type of kick you can imagine. Great counter striking, does really good blitz combinations, some of the best movement and distance management in the UFC, kind of sliding out of the way, sliding in to land his strikes, and just being kind of a sniper. Still looks very good and very fast. I would never think that he was 42 years old the way that he still performs. If he didn't have the gray hair, you'd probably think he was still in like his early to mid 30s, honestly. And on the feet, he's extremely hard to beat. Has historically had a really good takedown defense, but was getting taken down and controlled along the cage by Joaquin Buckley, and I think he was taken down like 4 times in that fight, and then obviously controlled by Shavkat Rakhmonov in their fight. So looks like he might be slipping in that department, or people are just game planning a little bit better and training their grappling a little bit better, because they know that that's probably the only way that they can see a lot of success against Stephen Thompson. You stand with Stephen Thompson, you're probably going to be looking at a really hard nights out. But Gabriel Bonfim, he's a finisher, finished 16 of his 17 wins, has great kicks, dynamic striker with good combos, great knees from the tie clinch, good left hook, really good power, not afraid to kind of stand in the pocket and trade. BJJ black belt as well, 13 submission wins, good takedowns, good takedown defense. I think it's like 76% takedown defense. Jumps a really good ghillie, which don't really like to see in MMA. It's not always the most effective, and you give up position, go on bottom, but really effective at doing it. Wasn't doing too hot defending takedowns against Angelusa though, but was getting a lot of takedowns against Dalby and against Lusa later in the fight in Trevin Giles. So his cardio started to suffer, obviously, against Dalby once he couldn't get the takedowns, and Dalby was just pushing forward with a lot of pressure. But I'm going to have to go with Gabriel Bonfim in this one. He's the younger guy. He's going to be 15 years younger than Stephen Thompson. I think he can hang on the feet with Stephen Thompson, land his kick, go tit for tat, but eventually look to get those takedowns and get the finish. So I think he gets this one done either by submission or by decision, because I think that he can hold his own in the stand-up with Stephen Thompson, get his takedowns, work his clinch game, and get this one done. He's much younger. He's got tons of momentum, very highly skilled, probably one of the best well-rounded guys of the prospects at 170 pounds. And his only loss that he had was just due to gassing. He gassed out against Nicholas Dalby, was winning that fight beforehand. Nicholas Dalby's just an absolute dog. He's tough. He can push a high pace, take a lot of damage, has really good cardio. And he just kind of fizzled out in that one. So I feel like that's something that he can learn from And I feel like he can develop a pretty good game plan against Stephen Thompson, where it's, get respect on the feet, threaten with your grappling to open up your strikes, or just, go balls to the wall to get the fight to the ground. Because, Stephen Thompson, he's got decent ground game, but he can't be finished. We've seen him finish several times on the ground, and that's probably the best pathway to victory for Gabriel Bonfim. So very high level grappler, definitely going to have the advantage there. So I think that's where he's going to take this fight. Stephen Thompson, 42, like I said earlier, hasn't really shown slowing down very much, but at some point we're going to see a precipitous drop from him, I think. And at 42 years old, coming off of 2 losses by finish, not a lot of momentum, hasn't fought since October. I think he's going to eventually start to slow down. Like I said, tons of fights in the UFC, taking a lot of damage, been in a lot of wars. Gabriel Bonfim, dude's just a stud. I think he can win this fight everywhere. I think he can catch Stephen Thompson on the feet because he's that good. But I think more than likely he'll look to make it dirty, get it to the ground, and do damage there, win positionally to get a decision or get the submission. I don't know what the odds are. I haven't looked yet. Minus 420 for Gabriel Bonfim. I feel like that's a little steep. It's a little disrespectful to my boy Stephen Thompson, but I get it. He's very good. Stephen Thompson also very good, but can't ignore the age, can't ignore the gap between these guys, 27 and 42. So I'm going to go with Gabriel Bonfim to get this one done by submission or decision. Thanks.